They look like royalty in dog form. Sleek, muscular, dignified. The Rhodesian Ridgeback carries itself with such calm power that it often gets mistaken for something it's not. People see the intense stare, the confident posture, the quiet independence, and they assume danger, dominance, aggression. But here's the truth, the Rhodesian Ridgeback isn't dangerous. It's just deeply misunderstood. If you've ever been judged for owning one, if you've ever had someone flinch when your Ridgeback walked by, or if you're considering this breed and wondering what they're really like, stick around. Because the Ridgeback isn't what the world thinks it is, and once you understand how this dog feels, not just how it looks, everything changes. Now before we go deeper, take a second and tap subscribe. Because this channel isn't about selling fairy tales. It's about uncovering the emotional lives of the world's most complex dogs. And the Rhodesian Ridgeback might be the most emotionally layered of them all. Here's the first truth that throws people off. The Ridgeback is not aggressive. It's not reactive. It's not overly dominant. What it is emotionally reserved. It's not shy. Not anxious. Just selective. And that right there is where the misunderstanding begins. Because in a world where most dogs show love through licking, wagging, jumping, following you everywhere, the Ridgeback doesn't play that game. They love differently. And here's the first open loop. How do you know your Ridgeback loves you? When they don't act like a typical dog. We'll come back to that. But first, let's talk about how most Ridgebacks get misread. You're out on a walk. Your dog is silent, calm, watching. Someone approaches. Your Ridgeback steps forward, not barking, not lunging, just present. You know it's not a threat. But the person flinches. Steps back. Says something like, "He looks scary." You smile politely. But inside, you're frustrated. Because you know what no one else does, your Ridgeback isn't being aggressive. They're watching, protecting, thinking. And that leads us to the next truth. The Rhodesian Ridgeback isn't slow to act. It's deliberate. It reads energy before it reacts. That's not aggression. That's emotional intelligence. This breed doesn't throw itself into conflict. It analyzes, assesses, decides. And most of the time, it chooses calm. But people misread calmness as coldness. They mistake independence for disobedience. They see emotional control as aloofness. And when a Ridgeback doesn't wag, doesn't jump, doesn't beg for affection, people assume it doesn't care. But the reality? Ridgebacks care deeply. They just express it with dignity. Quietly. Subtly. Through presence, not noise. Let's close that earlier loop now. How do you know a Ridgeback loves you? Look for the stillness. The silent following. The dog that settles near you, not on you. The one that watches the door, positions itself between you and strangers, glances over without needing to be touched. That is Ridgeback love. It's not flashy. It's felt. If this is already challenging what you thought you knew, hit like right now. Because most of the world still sees Ridgebacks as tough, intimidating dogs, and it's time we rewrite that narrative. Let's talk about training. Another place where the Ridgeback gets misunderstood. This breed is not untrainable. But it also doesn't respond to force, repetition, or frustration. You can't yell at a Ridgeback. You can't dominate it. Because it'll shut down. Not out of fear, but out of principle. They're emotionally proud. If you embarrass them, if you break trust, they won't forget. And they won't perform for your ego. But if you build trust, if you lead with clarity and calm consistency, they'll respect you. And that respect leads to obedience, not because they have to, but because they want to. That's the challenge. And the reward. The Ridgeback doesn't just follow commands. It chooses leaders. You don't train this dog into submission. You guide it into partnership. But here's where the breed breaks many first-time owners: the early months. As puppies, Ridgebacks are stubborn, independent, curious, and full of energy. They don't hang off your every word. They don't naturally recall. They test boundaries. And they do it all with a straight face. If you're not emotionally grounded, you'll misinterpret their behavior. You'll think they don't care. You'll think they're blowing you off. But they're not. They're just watching you, figuring you out, deciding if you're worth following. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like your Ridgeback is more emotionally intelligent than you expected a dog to be? Like they're reading your mind, your mood, your energy? That's because they are. And if you're not prepared for a dog that demands emotional presence, not just treats or toys, you'll miss the best parts of what this breed has to offer. Because here's the final truth no one wants to say out loud: the Rhodesian Ridgeback is not misunderstood because it's flawed. It's misunderstood because it refuses to beg for validation. It doesn't act out to prove itself. It doesn't try to be cute to win approval. It simply is. Calm, powerful, honest, and deeply loyal to the people who earn its trust. So is the Rhodesian Ridgeback the most misunderstood dog breed ever? In my opinion, yes. Because the world is used to loud love, instant affection, obvious obedience. And the Ridgeback offers none of that. What it gives instead is something rarer, silent loyalty, slow trust, and a bond that doesn't just follow you. It stands beside you. If this video helped you see your Ridgeback in a new way, or made you think twice about this breed, subscribe now. Because here at The Pet Perspective, we don't just celebrate dogs. We explain them. Honestly. Emotionally. Without the fluff. And drop a comment, have you ever felt like people misjudge your Ridgeback? I'd love to hear your stories, because when we share, we help others see the truth behind the silence. Thanks for watching. And remember, the Ridgeback may not wag its tail for just anyone. But if it chooses you, you've earned something that can't be trained. Only trusted.